How's it going, guys? Welcome to today's video. When people think about generating income with a cow-calf operation, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is selling market calves. But there's a second stream of income that people often overlook and kind of forget about, and that is cull cows. That's what we're talking about today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. So before we get too deep into it, first I want to talk about what cull cows are and the process that I use to decide which cows to cull. Cull cows are cows that you remove from your herd to sell. Now there's a wide variety of reasons why producers might decide to do this. So for me, this starts with asking myself a two-part question, and that is, did this cow make me money this year, and is she likely to make me money next year? If the answer to both questions is yes, then she is probably pretty safe. But if the answer to either one is no, then she might find herself on the short list of cull cows. So this will be largely influenced by whether or not the cow is breeding regularly, or if you suspect that she might have trouble breeding. Basically, it all just boils down to is, will she have a calf again next year? Did she have a calf this year? So if fertility is good and profitability is good, then why would you get rid of a cow? Let me tell you some reasons that I've gotten rid of other cows in the past. So one reason might be a cow's udder score. And an udder score, if you're not familiar, is just how nice of a bag she has. Now, the reason that this is important is because your cow might be very fertile and she might have a calf every single year and she might deliver it fine and take care of it good. But if her udder quality is low and the calf is unable to nurse, then she becomes a lot less valuable to you. Typically, as cows age, their udder score goes down, like this cow. She's a good cow in every other way. I've got a lot of years out of her, but her bag just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year and lower every year. I was really lucky that this year the calf was able to figure out how to nurse on it, and I just don't think I'm going to be that lucky next year. I'm planning on culling 5 cows this year because I kept 5 replacement heifers. If I have fewer than 5 cows that meet the first criteria, fertility, then this cow might find herself on the trailer. Another reason to cull a cow might be if the cow is overly aggressive. I've got a cow out there that some of you guys, my regular viewers, know about, number 20. Every time I get her in the corral to work on the cows, she is the one that I'm afraid is going to jump a fence, run me over, try to kill me. Any variety of things, just because she is so high-spirited and just so spooky. Now, up to this point, she's calved on time perfectly and always weans a nice calf, so I haven't gotten rid of her. But like I said with the previous cow, if there's room on the trailer, she might find herself on it. Another reason that I might get rid of a cow is if she's a habitual fence breaker. Now, when considering this criteria, you have to be honest with yourself. Is it that the cow is just really hard on fences, or is it that you're not maintaining a very good fence? For example, I've had cows over at the winter pasture that would break out every day. Actually, we just had this happen with number 40. Now, those fences over there are a little bit less than ideal, so I kind of give her a break, because when I bring her back here, I don't have to worry about her. She stays put. Now, if I have a cow here that's breaking fences every day, getting out all the time, I'm always fixing wire, then that's another one that might find herself on the trailer when it comes time to take cull cows. So kind of a funny story, and I almost don't even want to admit this on camera, but there's a cow, and I still have her, that I wanted to get rid of so bad, because every time I got her in the corral, she would jump fences and break fences. And I mean, she wouldn't be hard on pasture fences. It was just when you were trying to push her and work her. And the reason that I didn't get rid of her is because I was about 90% sure that I would never get her in the trailer, that she would just destroy my entire corral. So I kept her, and I actually still have her, like I said, and wouldn't you know, as she got older, she's calmed down a lot, and I don't know if she's just too old to even think about jumping fences, but I haven't had any problems with her lately. Of course, now I've got the steel working tub too, so that makes a big difference. If she tries to jump that, there's really not a whole lot she can do. So fertility and profitability are definitely at the top of my list, like way above the other stuff. The other stuff matters, but fertility and profitability is really what I care about. But I know that a lot of you guys have cows too, so I want to know in the comments, what are some reasons that you cull cows, or maybe some stuff that I forgot. So now that we've talked about what cull cows are and how producers decide which cows to cull, I want to talk about the 4 different classifications that the USDA puts cull cows into and why that should matter to you when you go to sell them. So rather than try to explain to you guys what they are, I think it would be a lot better to run out into the field, and I think I have probably an example of each classification of cull cows. So let's go check them out. So just real quick, for those of you that follow the ranch and kind of like to know what's going on, I put the yearlings and the mother cows here at the home ranch in together. This was a little sooner than I wanted to do it, but well, I did it for a couple reasons. For one, I needed the grass because I didn't want to have to start feeding hay again. And for 2, enough of these cows have had calves now where it'd be really unlikely for one of these yearlings to start nursing again. I'm not saying that it can't happen, because I've seen it happen before, but I think we're gonna be good. So that's why it looks like we have a lot of cattle out here. The most valuable class of cull cows also happens to be the most highly conditioned cows, which is no coincidence, and they are called breakers. If this were to be a cull cow, she would definitely fall into the breaker category. Now, breakers are defined as cows with a body condition score of 7 or higher. Now, the reason that you get paid the most for breakers is probably pretty obvious. There's a lot more meat here for the packer to sell. Now think about it. It costs them the same amount of money to process a light cow and a heavy cow, but with a heavy cow, they get a lot more money back. He just wanted to be in the video. All right, man, here's your chance. One step below breakers is a group called boning utility, and number 4 here is a pretty good example. These cattle fall between a body condition score of 5 and 7. Notice that she's not huge, but she's not skinny either. Actually, the vast majority of beef cattle will fall into the boning utility category. So the last 2 categories are typically kind of lumped together because they are the least valuable cattle, and they are called leans and lights. Now number 37 here would definitely fall into that category. I mean, you can see her hip bones, you can see her back line, but I wouldn't quite put her in the light category because we don't see her ribs quite yet. Old number 1 here would probably fall into the lean category. You can see her hip bones pretty prominently, you can see her backbone, you can see a little bit of rib. It's probably hard to tell while she's laying down, but when she's up you can definitely see some rib. So I wouldn't put her as a light yet because her bones aren't that visible, but she's definitely a lean. Cattle referred to as lights are just walking skeletons, just bags of bones. And I am actually happy to say that I don't have any examples of those to show you guys. So those are the best examples that I can find out here of the 4 different categories. Well, the 3 different categories. I didn't have any examples that I would call lights, which, like I said before, is something I'm kind of proud of. So why should any of this matter to you? Well, obviously it's because of the price differential that you get between the different classes of cattle. If you have breakers that you're trying to sell, go ahead and sell them because they're not going to get any more valuable than they already are. I've read a couple of articles lately that suggest putting cull cows on feed for a couple of months to get them up into the next class actually pencils out. Now, generally speaking, it doesn't pencil out to try to get a cow up into the breaker class because you would have to throw too much feed at them, and it wouldn't be a smart decision financially speaking. But you could take lean cattle and feed them up to the boning utility class, and that would pencil out in the end, so they say. For my situation and the way that I manage these girls, feeding cull cows really doesn't work for me, but it is something to consider because it might work for you. All right, guys, that's all I know. That's all I know about cull cows. Thanks for hanging out with me in the field today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.